This week on a podcast, we're talking anime. Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And today we have a special guest, Kirsten.
Hi.
We're here to talk anime. She's our resident anime expert. So brought her in because me and Doug are old school. We're not as up on the current anime as we should be, I guess, as geeks.
Yeah. And before we get too far into this episode of the Grizzled Geek is sponsored by Altered Reality Games. And we're going to have a Kickstarter coming out at the end of the month. I believe it's the 28th?
26th.
Or the 26th. Okay, so the 26th, we've got a Kickstarter for Fight Dice Clubs. So go check that out on Kickstarter. We'll have a link below.
And we'll have a how to play video coming out pretty soon.
Yes.
End of the week. All right, well, let's jump into it here. Anime. So I watched anime as a kid. I didn't even realize I was watching anime at the time. It was just cartoons at the time. Probably started with like Robotech, Voltron, those old school Gundam.
Yeah, and I guess we should, the Americanized version of anime.
The Americanized version, of course. Yeah, we were
like everyone. Gotcha Man was G-Force in the United States when I watched it as a kid. You know, the bird superhero type people.
Yes.
And then I watched Spaceship Yamato when I was a kid. I mean, like, we're talking second grade, so it's been that was a long time ago.
Right.
And it was really good for a second grader. I tried watching it again in college, and I had to apologize to everybody that I drummed up for it and go,
like,
this is this stuff. I loved it when I was a kid. And we rewatched it, and I'm like,
no.
Sorry.
Wow. It's like watching Dukes of Hazzard again. Like, I loved it as a kid. Watch it nowadays, you're like, oh, cringe. Yeah. All right, well, Kirsten, what was your first anime? What got you into anime?
Kind of like you guys, I didn't know that I was watching anime at the time. My first anime was Pokemon. So got really into Pokemon, loved the art style, but didn't know it was anime. And then, fast forward a couple of years and Inuyasha came out. And I was like, what is this?
Inuyasha, I remember. I got that on my list of what I was forced to watch. I had my cousin Ben was staying with us for a while.
Yeah.
He was big into anime, so a lot of these that I'm familiar with is because he was forced to be in the same room when it was on. Yeah. All I remember from Inuyasha was that some girl just could not say his name normally, had to scream it. Inuyasha!
Kagomai! Inuyasha!
That's all I remember. I'd be like, for God's sake, someone find Inuyasha for this girl.
Shut her up, please.
Can I just say his name? Look up, he's in the same room with her, she's screaming. All right, so looking back, I would say probably growing up, Robotech was probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
You know, was that for you?
Probably my all-time favorite, yeah. That's my all-time favorite cartoon in general, and an anime, definitely.
Now, you're a Robotech fan, not Macross.
Yes, yeah. Well, and probably because I saw it first.
Probably. Because it's kind of a mashup of the Macross. Was it Macross, Southern Cross, and Waspita were the originals?
I guess, yeah. I know I watched Macross after watching Robotech. I don't think I ever watched the other two. So it's always just
I remember watching Macross and going, "What? This isn't Robotech." Or
yeah.
It's like a rip-off of Robotech.
Yeah.
Little did I know Robotech's a rip-off of it, but,
unfortunately the other way around.
Yeah.
But,
I did the same thing, but I watched Macross Frontier, and it was like the light version of Macross. So it focused more on the people and the things that were going on behind the scenes. And then it'd come back to the mechs and whatever. So then I watched Macross, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not the same thing.
This is not it. Yeah. I got into so into Robotech that's what got me into BattleTech, really, was all the... BattleTech had the miniatures.
Yeah.
And then there was a lawsuit, and then they had to do it anymore.
You can't do it anymore.
Couldn't do the Veritech fighters anymore, and I'm like, wow.
I'm still to this day disappointed that they never made the Sentinels season of Robotech. You know, they did like a pilot episode that had them on the Robotech Master's home planet, but they never were able to make the rest of it. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
How long did Robotech go on? Do you remember?
It was 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
So,
okay.
And then obviously endless reruns.
Right. course.
But each season was different. Was like a different team, right? Or that further
A different
on?
generation of people.
Different generation.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like the heroes in the first season of it was like with their kids in the.
They all leave, and then it's the second season is the main star is Dana, who's the half Zentradi, half human of Max and Mira.
Yeah.
So, and then the third generation is the people coming back from from the Robotech Masters homeworld to the invaded Earth, and the main hero on that is actually the scientist from the first one's like nephew or adopted nephew. I don't remember if he's actually really related to him,
but-
or if he just is whatever, adopted or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
But yeah, so he's coming back, and then there's a bunch of people who are living on Earth from during the invasion and whatnot.
Got it.
So yeah, each one's a separate generation of people.
Okay.
All right. So from when I was a kid, watching Voltron on TV, Robotech, Battlesuit Gundam, I watched. I was into when I was a kid, Space Pirate Captain Harlock, just because I was in a pirate with his pirate stage.
Yeah.
And this is a space pirate. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I wanted to. He had a cool jacket and the whole bit, so I watched that. And then for a while there, it was kind of a dry spell. I didn't watch anime. Through high school, I don't think I watched any anime. Late. I mean, I watched Akira when it came out. That was in the late 80s, wasn't it?
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Something
Yeah.
like the late 80s, which was amazing. That was just like art. I mean, it was like art on screen. I just had to watch that over and over again. And then I got into the weird for a while there. Right after watching Akira, I got into the weird anime, right? And then, which of course led to the hentai stuff, and then and I wasn't really watching it for any story or anything like that. That was
Now,
completely different thing.
anime used to be really difficult to get a hold of. How did you watch Akira? Was it available on theater? or-
Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Back in the day, you get a video store. Actually, it wasn't Blockbuster. It was Hollywood Video, because Hollywood Video had an anime section.
Oh, okay.
Right? Blockbuster didn't. Blockbuster
Yeah.
had hit or miss what they had.
Right.
But Hollywood Video had and some of the smaller video stores had an anime section.
Uh-huh.
So and most of it, like I said, most of it was horrible.
Right.
Like, it was just like blood and boobs, whatever those that line of
Right.
anime was.
Right.
But
Even the regular video stores, you could pretty much always find Akira and Fist of the North Star, because those are
Yeah.
the big ones that everybody knew about.
yeah.
yeah, Fist of the North Star. I got into that. Oh, Ninja Scroll. Remember that?
I know of it, but I never really got
Right.
into it. So
These are all most of the anime that I watched was people saying you got to watch this movie, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of them, but it wasn't until Cowboy Bebop, which was late '90s, that I kind of came back around to anime. I guess that and Noelle, our friend, she forced me to watch Trigun. At the time, she was like, "You have to watch Trigun." And I'm like, I don't care about anime.
Right.
This is goofy looking. It's like a dude in a red coat with spiky hair.
Right.
So she lent me the entire run of Trigun, right? And I'm like, I'll get around to this eventually. So I started watching it, and then I got hooked. That was like the first anime series outside of Robotech when I was a kid
Yeah.
that I watched all the way through,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and I tore through that in like a month.
Trigun was exquisite. It was
It was good.
It's top tier anime for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not usually into the more, the chibi kind of.
Yeah.
I like the more realistic.
Well, they have
realistic for anime, I guess.
Yeah, they have a very serious plot, but then they like to break it up with comedic
Yeah.
faces or weird things that happen. So it
Right.
does a very good job of keeping you entertained in the story as well as being invested in your characters.
Yes. And I think Trigun was probably my favorite for a while there. I mean, I guess probably Robotech will always be my favorite, but as far as series, outside of Voltron or whatnot, but I mean, yeah. I don't know. Trigun, I don't know how to say, how I even describe the appeal of Trigun, but it just, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And there's not been a whole lot of others that I've watched. I mean, I've watched some other stuff. Like I said, Ben, who was my roommate at the time, was pretty much into everything. So because of him, I ended up watching Bleach and Inuyasha, and he watched Sailor Moon. I didn't watch Sailor Moon. I was in the same room.
Oh, you
When Sailor Moon
didn't
was-
watch Sailor Moon.
I didn't watch Sailor Moon. I know pretty much. I have a bunch of Sailor Moon trivia because I could. Because it was on. I was in the same room. It was on.
Right.
I only watched a little bit.
But
But
definitely wasn't watching it.
but what was what was some of the ones you're watching? I mean, you watch normally. I mean, obviously, Naruto was probably your big one. Huh?
Yeah. I started Naruto when I was in middle school, maybe high school, and it's been going on for a really long time. So it's 720 episodes, and I finally just finished it recently.
Wow.
Oh, my heart.
Incredible. Holy cow.
It's hard. I can't say that I watched it consecutively. When I got into Naruto, my friends were super into it and told me I should check it out. And I'm not really one for action-y sort of things. So I was like, I'll watch a couple episodes. And like the first episode, I was hooked on it. And so at that time, it had been out long enough that it had probably like 5 seasons out. And I binged all of them on like a website that definitely had very suspicious looking ads all over it for that entire summer, and then finally got caught up and then was like, okay, I don't want to like sit and watch because at the time it wasn't on the internet every week that it was coming out. It was like 2 weeks behind.
Oh, okay.
So I said I was just going to take a break and then I'll come back to it. Well, the next time I came around to it, like all of that season, all the 220 episodes of Naruto was out, and they were already halfway through Naruto Shippuden. And so I was like, So it's been watched in blocks.
Okay.
Was it satisfying? You finished the whole thing?
It was everything I've ever wanted. Yeah, it had a very satisfying ending to it. So well worth sticking through however many years it's been to finish up 720 episodes.
Yeah.
720 episodes. That's a big investment into a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably would have cried if it didn't end well, but I cried anyway because it was just a happy way for everything to end. So
good. A satisfying ending. You don't get a whole lot of those.
And they came out with Boruto, so
that's his kid.
Yeah, that's his kid. So I don't even have to cry over missing it all anymore. I'll follow him through his child. So
nice. So, is it safe to say that's your favorite, or you have a?
It'd be a tough. It's tough to say. I love Naruto because I've invested so much time and effort into it.
Yeah.
But my favorite anime by far was called Angel Beats. And it's, I'm one for slice of life or fantasy based. And this one was like both of those put together. Basically, this guy wakes up and all he remembers is his name and that he's dead. And he's on a school ground. He's in the recess area, the playground. And all of a sudden, this huge bomb goes off, and there's like guns firing, and like he's trying to take cover. And he finds out that these kids are in the same position. They're slowly remembering how they died or like what their lives were filled as. And they're fighting this girl that they say is pure evil. So it's the story of him trying to figure out what the hell happened, why he's here, how he died.
So a mystery kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but it's so good. Like the ending was completely unexpected, but in the best way possible. It was so good.
Wow. I don't know, Doug. What do you? If you watch any of the movies, you watch Akira, right?
Yeah. Pretty much I can say Akira and Fist of the North Star are probably the last.
Wow. Okay.
Last anime that I got into. Well, and I didn't watch them right when they came out. Those were probably like college years.
Sure.
Tried to watch the Spaceship Yamato again, and I think we caught little stuff like Vampire Hunter D and stuff like that here and there, but pretty much. Post-college, I've never really looked back.
Did you like Vampire Hunter D?
I don't really remember it much.
So, yeah, because this is one of the ones that Ben made me watch. He was like, we got to watch this. This is great, blah, blah, blah. We used to sit up and watch goofy anime all the time. He was like, you got to watch Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
I just didn't get into it. I was not, I don't know why. I mean, I liked other stuff. I got into that. No, but I know the only thing anime series that he got me into was Full Metal Alchemist. I got into that, which it was pretty good. right? I mean, do you watch Full Metal?
Oh yeah. That's a classic.
Okay.
I really, where I started Inuyasha was from Adult Swim. They were doing anime Saturday nights, and so it was like the lineup was Full Metal Alchemist, and then there was Inuyasha, and then some other anime at that time. So I've those I'm very familiar with just because that's
Probably the same block we watched too. You like, because you watched all those things and Bleach and all that, and I was like, and then we watched one crazy one. I don't even know the name of it, but it was one where it was I can't remember. It was like the headless motorbike chick who were the.
Oh, you watched Durarara.
Yeah, what?
That was a really good one too.
Okay. It was on. All I know was on late at night.
Yeah.
And then all I know is like he was watching it. I was on my computer.
Yeah.
And I look up and there's like a headless chick with smoke coming out her neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
what
it.
the hell is that? and he started telling me, and I'm like, next thing I know, I'm on the couch, right? And then every night on the couch watching, I did,
Right.
just so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's one of those where it's like, it's so weird, but you need to continue watching it to figure out what the hell is happening.
I'm like, there's like some kind of gang war going
Right.
on. There's like
Yeah.
bikers, and then there's like this headless chick,
Yeah.
with
Some guy with superhuman strength throwing like stop signs around and whatnot. Yeah.
it was so weird that I had to watch it. It was one of those situations. But I don't know. So was there any anime that you watched that, what's your least favorite? Like, what do you don't like? what are you forced to watch that you didn't like? I can't believe I had to watch that crap.
So I'm not super picky when it comes to anime. I really don't like mech anime or things that focus on just like explosions and whatnot, but that's the same with movies for me. I don't like watching explosions all the time. So but I was going through all of my list, and I saw two of them that I was like, I can't even. One of them was Mahorumatic, and it was about this stupid BattleTech girl. She was like a machine, and she had been, what's the word? They were like modernized, where she was now a maid. And this boy falls in love, and he only later finds out that she's a robot, and then it's their love story while she also fights things to protect him. So I have this rule. I've got to watch at least 5 episodes before I decide I'm out. So I watched 5 stupid episodes, and I was like, this isn't getting better. I can't do this. And so I didn't watch that. And then the one that I don't like, and I know that I'll get flack for anyone who's currently watching anime, is Gurren Lagann. And that's another mechy sort of anime. It was very like over the top and ridiculous, and I'm going to be number one, and I'm going to fight all the things for my hometown, and just everyone, I don't even understand what people like out of it. That's how much I hate it. But it's so popular among the anime community that it's like.
Well, I will save you by I'll save you the hate by having to swing it my way. I'll go over some unpopular opinions right now. I didn't like. I had watched with Princess Mononoke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everyone's like super popular. I didn't like it.
Pretty much any of the Ghibli.
Yeah, like
if
the
you don't
Howl's Moving Castle.
Shame
or whatever.
on you.
I was just kind of like wasn't into it either.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z, not a big fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched at it on and off, but it was like, to me, it was like.
Yeah.
Every year is like, I got to train to beat the most powerful person. And then like, next year, there's an even more powerful person. I got to train all year to beat him. And by the end of it, you're like, all right, the first guy you beat, he's going to be nobody at this point. Like, what is... I remember watching...
How does it get that strong?
How does it get that strong?
Eventually, it's like, how much stronger are these people going to get?
So much power creep. I'm like, well, really, at this point? But yeah, I think finally for me was the episode I watched where, like, I was thinking of telling you about it, where he powers up for like a whole episode, or he's just like, just powering up for this big attack, and the attack doesn't even happen until like the next episode, and he misses. It was like a whole episode of him powering up an attack.
Oh my god!
Literally.
Classic DBZ.
Oh, it was so bad. I was like, really? I'm like, fuck, I'm done with this. I'm watching this. But yeah, I didn't like Dragon Ball Z. I didn't like some of those. I didn't like Attack on Titan. Now, this is going to be completely unpopular opinion right here.
I agree with you.
It's so huge. Oh, really? You don't like it?
I really don't like it.
No, see, I like the concept was intriguing
Yes,
enough that I'm like, I'm not even
absolutely.
into anime really at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I was intrigued enough with the concept. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
I'm giant monsters.
Yeah.
I'm into
Oh, yeah,
this.
yeah.
Giant man-eating people. So I started watching this series, and I don't know what it was. It was just like, I started watching. I'm like, really? They had like 60 years to prepare for these things, and
Right.
and you haven't like improved any defenses.
Right.
Really at this point?
You're swinging around on ropes.
I know.
And slashing swords and like,
I'm like-
really? That's all you got at this
Yeah,
point?
well, you're 60 years. You
Oh
should
my
think they
God.
build, do something.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're the same old.
Giant modes.
Yeah,
or
just something.
pit traps
No,
or something.
their idea was, all right, we're going to build a city, put a wall around it, and then we're going to put a wall around that city, and then
Yeah.
we're going to put a wall around that city, and then we're going to put a wall around that city.
And then we're going to train guys to go fly around on ropes
Yeah.
to because the only way you can kill the things is by hitting them in the back of the neck or whatever.
Yeah, they've got like one weak point.
One weak point.
Yeah.
So you got to
Okay.
fly around, not like, I don't know. It just, so basically, they're all like Spider-Man. They got
Yeah.
like these omnidirectional things. They shoot out these.
They're pretty
ropes.
cool. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
But
Don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not saying.
against what they're fighting, dumb.
And I'm not, it is. It's kind of, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I'm not saying the characters aren't awesome, right?
No,
I'm not
yeah.
saying the characters are
Yeah.
cool, right? And, the storyline, but it's just, some of the concepts in it were so
Yeah.
ridiculous to me that I'm like, really? I can't get behind this. And then when they started turning into Titans, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't watch this. But everybody was like, Attack on Titan. It was like the big,
Oh, yeah.
the big thing. So, yeah, I wasn't into it. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of. I haven't really separated out. I didn't watch Ghost in the Shell till later on, much later on. I think I was post college that I watched Ghost in the Shell. Glad I did. It was an amazing movie. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of the modern wasn't into Pokemon.
What about The Last Airbender?
Oh, see now that does it count as anime because it's American?
I don't know.
I don't think it counts as
Yeah, I don't think it
anime.
does because that was.
I think it's technically cartoon. You're drawing a very thin line
Right,
there. But I mean,
They tried to mimic
if
the art
someone
style.
wanted to say it was anime, I would not argue against it.
Right.
But personal opinion, it has a very distinct art style that's more reminiscent of cartoon than it is of anime.
True. Now, what makes anime? Because I also recently been watching, or Shane made me watch
Yeah.
Ruby,
Yeah.
the Rooster Teeth kind of, but it's not Japanese,
No,
right?
yeah.
It's American, but it's a very anime style.
Yeah.
Right.
It depends on the person that you talk to because there was a show when I was younger. It was called Code Lyoko, and it had a very similar art style to what Ruby is right now.
Okay.
And it was made in America, but I it was considered a cartoon, and I considered it a cartoon. And I think it depends on who you ask who watches anime.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if it's made in the U.S., it's not anime.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably incorrect because just because it comes from a specific area doesn't mean that that's what it is. But if
Right.
it's not from Japan, then it's not anime in my head. So
I've heard the argument that anime is a style if it's stylistically a
Yeah.
certain way, but that
it
anime
changes
style.
so much.
Yeah, but there's so many different styles
Yeah.
of anime that really, what is that style?
Right.
Well,
Right.
and because you can't say it's all it used to be it's big eyes or
right.
whatever.
Big eyes, fancy hair.
Yeah, exactly. Spiky hair.
Background that's just a bunch of lines.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, they utilize those styles in American anime
Yeah.
or animation now, and then they have Japanese anime that uses American style, regular.
Right.
So I guess it's hard to define.
Yeah, it's a very gray area. Like, when do you go from cartoon to anime?
Right.
I mean, I would agree that you could maybe say that there's Japanese anime and American anime. You could differentiate between the two. But then you get into what is Airbender and where
Great is what
where
it
is
is.
the
That's what-
line?
I will say this: if Last Airbender is anime, then that is my favorite anime.
It was a very good
It was pretty good.
cartoon/anime.
Yeah. Yeah, if it counts, then definitely.
Hmm.
But if not, although I didn't like and again, another unpopular opinion, but I didn't like the sequel with
Oh, Legend of Korra.
Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't as big a fan. probably because I spent all that time, 4 seasons, getting, liking those characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't ready to have new characters in that same world.
And it was so different. It was completely different from where we left off with Last Airbender. Did you watch either of those?
The Last Airbender I did. I did not watch I didn't even know the Legend of Korra existed.
Yeah.
So
It's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
okay.
But I definitely like the Last Airbender. But I mean, there's a lot of weird little stuff that's kind of like cross the line. Like, what would you say is Ruby?
I honestly think that Ruby is a cartoon just because it's computer animated. It's not drawn like other cartoons maybe.
Yeah, it's mocap. It's like, it looks like the old, almost like an up version, or the rotoscoping. Remember the old, remember the Lord of the Rings rotoscoping where they actually had live actors and then they animated over top of them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they do that a lot for, like, Ruby. They do motion capture.
Yeah.
Right? So it has that look, that kind of movement. Their movement is kind of like rotoscoped.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, anime influenced.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, definitely.
You're 4 young schoolgirls who outfight monsters, and
Right.
every weapon is also a gun.
Right.
Like whether it's a it's a sword or brass knuckles or anything, whatever it is, it's also a gun.
Well, and I don't know. Anime in my head has always been like over the top, like the faces, like the crying face, or like the super excited face. Like it's always, your emotions are always over the top. And I can't even say that anymore, because even to this day, anime is going to more realistic, more like in-depth, gory, very like nitty-gritty realistic, that you can't even say that anymore. There's no like definitive, this is what anime is.
That's right. And I haven't seen a tentacle in an anime in years. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know what you're watching,
I know.
because it's all over the place.
Is it all over? I missed
Yes. You've not
maybe?
seen Sword Art?
No.
No? Okay, yeah. There's a specific episode where they're walking through a poppy field and a giant vine-like creature picks everyone up and puts the girl upside down, and so her panties are showing.
Oh, nice.
It happens all the
To
time.
get back into anime, I guess. What's going on with this? All right, let's broach the ugly subject of live action adaptations of anime. Now, originally we were going to, in dedication to the Ghost in the Shell movie that came out, we're gonna, for the show, like we normally do, we have a theme, but none of us. Apparently, nobody saw Ghost in the Shell, according to the numbers.
Yeah.
Now, so I can't really pass judgment on the movie because I haven't seen it. I don't think anyone here has.
No.
Nope.
Did not.
Wow. I think this is part of the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
It's on the list of things to do, but I mean, it was Get Out or Ghost in Shell. I was like,
All right, what would you go see? Power Rangers or Ghost in the Shell at this point?
Oh, that's hard.
See? See, that shouldn't be hard.
Well,
But it
Power
is.
Rangers
It is.
has, like, Power Rangers was one of those shows that my mom wanted my brother to be interested in it, and he totally wasn't, and I forced him to watch it with me. So we would take turns on the TV. So I watched Power Rangers, and then he watched some stupid show.
Nice.
So that was a nostalgic, like, way before
Yes.
anime was a thing in my life. But anime is such a powerful thing in my life that it's like,
See, I just missed Power Rangers, right? I was just too old for Power Rangers at that point when it came out, and my kids weren't around yet. So when they came around, Power Rangers was going out.
Yeah.
So I missed the whole Power Rangers thing. So not me, one of my
that's
kids.
too bad.
I know. I'm like, I'm really upset about that. But it's so all right. Live action. I think the first live action adaptation of an anime I ever watched was Fist of the North Star, which was awful. I mean, it was. I mean, it had all the cool like fingers in the chest, gory scene, and the head exploding scene. It had didn't it have the off Baldwin brother? Didn't they have one of the Gus Baldwin or whatever the unnamed Baldwin? I think they get less and less talented the further out the Baldwin from Alec you get. Bottom tier Baldwin. I don't know, but anyway, it was like. I remember watching that as a kid, getting super excited. I'm like, oh, Fist of the North Star. I love that, the animation. I want to see live action version of all that crazy shit. I want to see someone's head explode. And I watched it, and I was like, even as a kid, I was like, this is not good.
I too went through that disappointment.
Oh, man. So, and then from there, I think it just went downhill. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, was it Dragon Ball Z? Is that the low point?
Oh my god! I don't know, Dragon Ball Z or the Last Avatar or the
Last Airbender.
that was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And I don't know how you screw that up. How do you screw up The Last Airbender? It's Americanized. It's an American show, right?
Right.
It's already written for you, right? These characters are already fleshed out. I don't know how you screw that up.
Right.
They couldn't even say his name right. Ong. Like Ong.
Right.
I'm like, it's not even like a bad translation. That's what his name is Aang.
Right.
They say his name.
Literally what his name, and it said all the time.
It's said all the time in the cartoon. Yeah, I was like, well, no, his original name. His original name is Aang. But yeah, no, that was horrible. But I think that's more horrible, but only because I like Airbender as well. I was never into Dragon Ball Z, so
Right.
Yeah.
But even not a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I've watched enough of it to know that movie was awful.
Right.
Like that was an awful adaptation.
Yeah.
I'm like, it looked like it was Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day was playing. I was
There
like,
you go.
what is Green Day playing? Playing Dragon Ball Z? Oh, yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
it was pretty bad. I don't know. What other ones have there been out there?
Death Note was my first getting into.
But that was a
live
Japanese
action.
one, right?
Yes, that was the Japanese one. They're coming out with an American one.
Yes.
I guess I'll reserve my judgment, although I will have an unfair bias against it. I have not watched one live action and thought, man, that was really well done.
Yeah.
Or you know what? That was acceptable. Every time it's been like, what in the fuck am I watching? Like,
Why is
who
this-
thought this was okay? Who sold them the rights? Who watched this and said, that's okay, we'll put our brand on that?
Oh man, even Attack on Titan, which was I mean it made decent money, but it had kind of mad reviews, right? People were
Right.
kind of like, even fans and critics alike were like, because it was two. Basically, they told the first season storyline in
Yeah.
two movies,
Yeah.
and apparently people was not as critically acclaimed as everyone was
Right.
expecting. I mean, this was Japanese versions. There's American
Yeah.
versions coming out.
Right.
But, I don't know what. I figured that one would have, the name behind it to
Right.
to get people out there. I mean, the Titans look cool in it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, as far as.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I think the problem with it, with live actions, is that you're trying to bring something like the same problem that you have with superhero movies. Like, you're trying to bring something to life that's already been done and that you already love,
Yeah.
and you're trying to recreate it, but with actual people. And especially with anime, like, it's known for
so
being
over the top. Yeah.
You're seeing like things that can't possibly happen in these anime because it's drawing. You can do whatever the heck you want to make it come to life. And perspectives. You get like different angle shots and things like when you're looking at the manga or even in anime.
Yeah.
So you're trying to recreate that in a cinematic view, and it just doesn't translate very well.
Right. It's kind of like, is it the stuff for the same effect from the video game movies, right?
Yeah.
Are they as bad? Because has there ever been a good one? I think Warcraft was probably the one that done it the best, and it was.
Oh, I liked that.
it was
but I
okay.
never played Warcraft. So
Right. But it wasn't really like a normal video game movie, right? I mean, I think this background story itself lends itself to
Yeah.
cinematic. So, I mean,
What about that old Mario and Luigi
oh
movie?
my God, the Mario Brothers movie. Oh, poor Bob Hoskins. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's like the one regret you have, Bob Hoskins on his deathbed. It's like, oh, I can't believe I did the Mario
As
movie.
a kid, I never understood the concept of it, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I'm sure if I were to rewatch it, it'd be terrible. But
So bad.
in my head, it's got great reviews.
Oh my goodness. What about is that worse than the Street Fighter movie? That's a rough call right there. Come on, Van Damme, style.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those like, I really wanted that to be good because I loved Street Fighter, the video
Yeah,
game. I
yeah.
played
Yeah.
that so often when I was a kid that I wanted it to be good.
It says it all right there. I wanted it to be good.
I know
Sigh.
this is kind of off on a tangent, but what did you guys think of the Mortal Kombat movie? The live action of Mortal Kombat?
The first one was good.
See, I like the first
First
one.
one was
Yeah.
good. All right, there you
Love
go.
the
There's a
first
good video game movie. Of course, that's
I mean, it was cheesy, didn't take itself too seriously, but it was good.
yeah, it was good.
I agree.
Second one kind of went off the rails, but
Yeah.
probably because they didn't have the coolest character. Johnny Cage from the first movie wasn't in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and that's what kind of.
Well, did they
killed.
have the lightning god dude?
Oh
either?
yeah, he was in it,
He was in the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw that.
but he wasn't like a main. He wasn't in the in the first one. He was kind of like a main character.
Yeah.
But
Way off topic. Did you guys watch the YouTube series of them? They
I did. They were actually good.
They were really good. If
got me
you haven't,
excited.
You should take the time to watch them because they are fantastic.
Yes,
All right.
but they're shorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Nice.
pretty good. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna go. All right, we're gonna play a little game here. I'm gonna rattle off. I'm gonna rattle off some in development, live action versions of shows that are coming up. All right, and you tell me your opinion on them. Right?
Opinion of them being made into live action?
Yeah. What do you
Okay.
think? Are you excited for it? Are you apprehensive? They should not do that, or
right.
and then your prediction of whether it's gonna be awful or not. Now,
Okay.
yeah. All
I'll
right.
preface with they're all awful.
They're all awful. All right.
I think there's one exception, but we'll get to
Okay.
it.
Okay, all right, here we go. Alita Battle Angel.
Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
That's a mech one.
It's a mech one. Yeah, you're probably not into that one. That's been in developmental hell for a while now. So whether it actually gets made or not, in fact, at one time was James Cameron was involved with that before he decided to make Avatar movies for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So it's something that's being created in the U.S.?
Yeah, these are all U.S.
Okay.
adaptations that are being
Okay.
made right now. Because yeah,
Having not seen it, I'm going to say that it might turn out all right because if you're focusing more on the CGI of things,
Mm-hmm.
we typically do CGI fairly decently.
yeah,
The only
Mech cell.
problem is we kind of fuck up any story. So any story that may be associated with it might kind of suck, but I'm sure the mech battles will be awesome.
okay, all right. Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh,
No,
I don't know. I don't think so.
you don't think so? Have you seen trailers for it or anything? Or anything?
I have avoided watching the trailers
Oh,
because
wow.
I have terrible experience with live action. I just kind of pretend like they don't
Did you like
happen.
the series?
I love the series.
Okay,
yes.
so this is coming
Yeah.
from more of a
I'm-
precious with the source material.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't fuck up my FMA. I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, I like the series too, but I got to say I'm kind of excited to see this, the live action.
I don't know. I'll have you watch it and then I'll ask you. how
Okay,
you
but I'm
felt
not as
about it.
precious with the source material as you are,
Right.
so we'll see.
I can reserve judgment if someone says that's good.
Okay. Bleach.
I think that the material that they have for that will be easy to translate onto screen, supposing they have the right actors. And I
Right.
think that it'll be an awesome battle, exciting thing. I didn't really like Bleach.
You don't like Bleach?
So,
Oh, okay. There you go. So the less
I
you
might
care about
watch
it, the more
it.
you're optimistic about the live action.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the source material, like if you're
Right.
focusing on what that is, it's more of like battles and whatnot. I think that we have a good enough capability to bring that to life that it'll be decent to watch. Although I may not care for the story.
Got it. All right, here's one you care for. Death Note. Netflix series.
Okay. Initial thought before I saw the trailer was this is going to be shit. I watched the Japanese version. And holy cow.
Did they have a goofy looking
Do
demon?
not. Just save yourself the trouble. It was poorly CGI. The acting was terrible. Like all of it, just all of it was complete garbage. I watched it for the sake of I've done it. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta
can
watch it.
at least say that I've seen the live action
Yeah,
version.
but William Dafoe is the
I know.
Death Demon. I mean, come on.
And the
That's
trailer was done really, really well. The only thing that kicks me is I was going through the IMDb, or whatever it is, of the characters and who's playing what, and they Americanized all the names of people.
yeah. Well, it's set
Which
in,
is dumb.
it's set in Seattle,
yeah.
so it's totally American.
It didn't have to be set in Seattle, for one. And for two, the main character's name is Light. It's not even a Japanese name.
That's true. They
His
should've-
last name is Japanese. We don't have to say
his name's not
last
Light in the
name.
series.
No, his name is Light in the series.
Oh.
They changed his name to John so and so, Like his name in the series.
So the new series is not going to have his name's not going to be Light.
No, yeah,
All right, that was
his
weird.
name was legitimately an American word,
Yeah, but
Lights.
That was and his name was kind of like a metaphor. I mean, the whole
exactly,
the whole thing.
exactly. It all meant.
If you don't know,
something.
Doug, is he has a book that basically, if he writes his name in the book,
Yeah.
that person dies. So he's got all this responsibility of, and then he's got this death demon that kind of follows him
Right.
around,
Well,
trying to get him to use the book.
Right. The concept is that he is like upset with the world, and he just kind of lives his life day to day as a high schooler. Is like the grungy like life sucks sort of guy, but he's super smart. And one day this book drops down. He picks it up, and it's got rules in it. Like, if you write someone's name in this, in the next 2 minutes, they'll die of a heart attack unless otherwise specified. And then they've got, like, different rules of what will happen and how to make it happen.
Yeah.
You find out that the book is owned by Shinigami, which are death gods. And so the death gods, their job is to create death. So basically, Death God was like, I'm bored. Threw it out into the world. Let's see what happens. And Light's like, I will make the world pure again. And so it's the story of how he kills like criminals and things like that, and politicians that he finds corrupt to try and put the right people into place and make the world good.
Doesn't always quite work out.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, then that demon is William Dafoe is doing the voice. So I mean, it looks it's Netflix too. So Netflix series is usually pretty high quality.
Now, did Netflix set it in the past, or is it set in modern day?
I think it's I don't
Because
know.
if he's grungy, maybe they set it in Seattle during the 90s
That's
just
true.
to
Explain all the suicides. Why is everybody dying off?
Yeah.
Well, it's Seattle.
I don't think we saw any technology. In the show, in the very least, they had laptops and cell phones and whatnot, so it really could go anyway.
Yeah, from the trailer you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Maybe.
cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Voltron.
I never watched Voltron,
Oh,
so
okay. See, so for me, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most out of any of these.
Yeah, and here's the thing:
As long as they don't do the team from the new series.
the
original team.
Yeah, do the original team, and there's enough. This is why I would be more optimistic about a Voltron movie than a Robotech movie, because Robotech has a defined story that goes from point A to point B to point Z.
Yeah.
There's no really room to put a side story in. I mean, you could, but it really wouldn't have much impact because all of the big events are chronicled. Yeah. Voltron, you can just go, yeah, they had this other adventure with this other thing that was happening that wasn't even related to Zarkon or whatever, know, and that would be fine. So that's
They got to find a lions. They got to fight Robeast. They got to form Voltron.
right.
Form a blazing sword and kill it. If nothing else happens in the movie, it's worth it. It's worth my price of admission right there.
Yeah.
Form blazing sword. All right. Well, speaking of that, Robotech, James Wan is set to direct Robotech movie, and he is talking about pulling from, taking inspiration from both the Americanized TV version of Robotech and the original Macross. So, I mean, that's a big sweeping story. I don't know how you can do it in a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and here's the thing is, if you're going to do a Robotech movie, do something that hasn't been done yet. Do Admiral Hunter and do the Sentinels or do the Closing of the Circle or something like that. Not retread the ground that's already been, gone over.
Right.
Don't retell the same story that we had in the cartoon. We don't need that.
Well, they got to have some kind of context for, the alien invasion and the whole bit.
I mean, you can do that in flashbacks. You could even make,
Like a Star Wars crawl.
they have a
Trotty
crawl.
invaded.
All right, yeah, Robotech does have a crawl, so you could use that to set up the backstory, and then do the future story.
Forget James Wan. They need to have Paul Verhoeven, totally do it like Starship Trooper style. With like the. I'd watch that Robotech right there. Would you like to learn more? Tell you about this Entrati.
There you go.
I'd watch that
man.
Robotech movie. Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Weren't you a Starship Trooper fan?
I actually did I love the book.
Yeah.
And the movie wasn't that bad if for what it was. It didn't really follow the book. But I really would have liked to see armor Marines jumping around, chucking grenades.
Someone besides Casper Van Dyne. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Pretty boy can't act.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Come on now. What about... all right, here we go. Cowboy Bebop. Live action Cowboy Bebop. Come on, this is a classic space western. This is what got me back into anime.
It could ruin it, or it could be amazing. I think it's going to be either or. It's not going to be okay. It's going to be either fantastic or it's going to be
the great
shit.
thing about Cowboy Bebop is they could do whatever movie they wanted to do because all those themes are in there. I mean, yes, it's a space western, right? But they could take whatever. They could go sci-fi. They could go, however they want to go with it because the show was had all these different themes in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Benedict Cumberbatch is supposed to be in that. He's playing... I can't think of his name. It's not Sid. It's
no, the other.
I can't think of his name.
Cumberbatch. He's in everything now. All right.
I'm excited about it. Have you seen the screenshots of him?
I have not seen anything about it. I've not.
Oh my God, he looks perfect.
Okay.
He's like a spitting image of him. I have his name off the top.
Like you
of
would
my
Death
tongue,
Note me and Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, I'm not sure I want to see this yet.
Okay, yeah.
Especially, I mean, I don't have a problem with Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm just saying.
The reason why I liked Firefly is because it reminded me of Cowboy Bebop. So I think if they could apply that to
Space
Cowboy
Western,
Bebop.
I get it. All right.
Yeah, when you're sitting here going, it's a space western, I'm like, they've already done that.
They've
It's
already
called
done
Serenity.
it. It's called Serenity.
Yes.
True. All right. Well, I'm cautiously optimistic about Cowboy Bebop.
Understandably so.
Yeah. All right. So they're doing an American version of Attack on Titan. Now, again, source material is not one of my favorite.
Yeah.
But, if they can, I have no idea what they were saying there about the actual live actions, why it's not, the critics and the fans of both didn't care for it as much. Was some of the characters, I guess they left some characters out, or,
Sure.
They have ways to correct it.
Yeah.
Right, with an American version. And I'll see it when it's, American version, just to see Titans eating people.
I probably won't unless someone tells me it's good. I don't like the anime at all, so unless someone's like, it was really good,
Or there's
then
giant
I might...
naked people eating other people.
Yeah, I love the gory concept of it, but how much of that was in the show? Like, you only had a couple episodes where you got to see people getting eaten. Most of the time it was trying to train so that way we can fight the guys and swing around and use our swords.
It's kind of dumb, but wait, hear me out.
Yeah.
Giant naked people eating other people. I mean...
All right, I'll give it this. They could take the concept and actually make something good out of it. Because like you were saying, I agree.
Is awesome,
I think the concept is fantastic. I think if they could take the concept and make a good story out of it, I'd watch it.
Okay. And not have the characters be so overly dramatic about everything.
Yes.
Okay. I would enjoy it then.
Yes.
I'm going to watch it for the giant naked people, but so I'll watch it either way. All right, Tokyo Ghoul. Have you ever watched this?
Oh, okay. So I loved this anime. It was awesome. It's gory and it's got a psychological.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh yeah, but it's like absurdly any gushing blood they can throw in, it's in there.
It's like a spray of blood.
Yeah, they're way over the top with it, but it's very psychological also. And there are themes to it that could if they follow the story-ish to it, it could be really awesome. It's a question whether or not they'll do that.
Yeah.
If they'll try to just repeat exactly what happened in the anime, I don't think that it'll go over so well.
You think the live action will be as gory? It's going to be R-rated if it's as gory as the anime?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm sure that they'll try and throw blood in it, but I don't think they'll be as over the top. I think it's kind of hard because they were bite into neck, blood sprays everywhere. I don't think that's physically possible. So.
Yeah. Unless get Sam Raimi to do it. Then you
can. Or Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino. Then we have see?
Those two aren't afraid to use blood.
No, but they're not going to do this movie.
I don't know who did Tokyo Gore Police, but
Tokyo Gore Police.
if they could get in on that, I think that we'd have some pretty good things come out of that movie.
Is Tromaville still around? Is Troma Studios? Get Troma to do it? Tokyo Ghoul. You ever seen any of the Troma movies? Toxic Avenger, any of that? Oh, man.
Is it like Tokyo Gore Police?
Is it like Tokyo Gore Police?
Quick plug, real quick. There's a Troma YouTube channel that you can watch all the movies for free.
All the movies for free on YouTube
Oh, okay.
for Troma movies.
Because they're horrible B movies.
They're
They're
That's what
great
Tokyo
B
Gore
movies.
Police is.
Oh, yeah,
It's
totally.
terrible.
They have,
But it's amazing because it's terrible.
yes.
Yes.
They have Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD.
It's full superhero
for-
from New Jersey.
From New Jersey. Yes.
Okay.
They have stuff like, Toxic Avenger is like they're the flagship character from that studio.
Sure.
Anyway, it's where James Gunn got his start. He did Tromeo and Juliet for them.
Oh, okay.
He got Uncle Lloydie gave him his big break. Lloyd Kaufman is the owner of Tromeo. Anyway, Tromaville. All right. Yes. Tokyo Ghoul, Troma. Needs to happen. All right. I'm not familiar with this one. Blade of the Immortal.
I'm not familiar with that either.
Okay, moving along. It could suck. It could be good. If you like Blade of the Immortal, they're making a live action. Maybe. These are all in various stages of development.
Right.
They're all, I mean,
Most likely, it means somebody bought the rights to it, and that's probably as far as it'll ever go.
but one that is probably definitely going to get made, even though it's been announced back in 2015. Naruto. Here we go. Now the series has ended. This is.
No.
No.
That's one of those where it's awesome because it's over the top and they do things that are totally not possible in our life. Like, just the physics just don't make sense. There's no way they could do this unless the entire thing was CGI'd, and at that point, it's anime or it's cartoon. Like,
So it's going to suck.
yeah, I think it's going to be shit.
Oh, man. Because it was announced 2015, but it gets updates every year. So it's constantly,
okay.
It's something that's, it's going to, well, it just ended.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to make this movie. And probably going to suck. You heard it here. All right. Moving on here. So other stuff I've never heard of. Gintama. You know what that is?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I haven't watched very many episodes. The premise of Gintama is that basically the entire show is making fun of anime. So they'll take anime tropes
nice.
and make fun of it within the story. And it's about this guy who's very like nonchalant, kind of just, fumbles his way into these situations that are like, what is going on? Like, you as a viewer, you're like, yeah, why does that happen in anime? That doesn't make any sense. Why did that happen? And they'll do specific examples out of specific anime. So they'll put on little wigs and you'll be like, oh, that's definitely that character from that anime.
Oh,
so
nice.
I don't know how.
So like a tongue-in-cheek anime.
Yes, it is very tongue-in-cheek. I don't know how well that'll translate into an English version. Just because the whole point of enjoying that anime is that you know the tropes that they're going out of, and you know the references that they're making. So unless the people who are watching it knows, and the people who are even directing it know the references that are supposed to be made,
Right.
I don't know if it's going to translate very well.
Yeah. Well, so there's a lot of weeaboos out there. This will get pretty popular. And you'll watch this stuff. All right. Moving on. All right. Probably one of the most anticipated, one they're actually making some movement on recently was Akira. Now, they've been trying to make this movie since the late 80s.
Yeah.
And it's been in various stages of production since the late 80s.
Yeah.
Several people have been attached to this. Most recently, well, not most recently, but a while back, Leonardo DiCaprio, his studio bought the rights to it, and he's been championing this project for a while.
Okay.
Not necessarily for him to star in, obviously,
Sure.
but to produce it.
Okay.
He's a big fan. So now they're trying to, the latest news they were saying, they were trying to court Jordan Peele from Key and Peele and
Interesting.
with Get Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Director Get Out, to direct it. So they get him on board. It just, here's the thing. It could run into the same problem as Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, because Ghost in the Shell, from what I've seen, looks visually stunning,
Yes.
right? It looks just like the anime, which was visually stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, Akira is art on film, right?
Yeah.
It is total art piece. crazy over the top,
Definitely.
So they can make it. Ghost in the Shell is proven they can make it look like the cartoon or the anime. Sorry, but whether or not they can actually pull off that crazy ass story and make it work for an American audience, that's another.
I feel like it's realistic enough that they'll do fine out of it. It's not like you can get too far away from the story because the story is pretty straight out. The ending is a little confusing. So I'm sure that they'll probably interpret it in some strange way that I may not agree with. But I think the story is laid out simply enough that you can't really deviate from it. You can maybe elaborate what's going on between other characters that you may not have seen in the anime. But I think all in all, out of any of those, I think I'm most excited for that because, like you said, visually speaking, it's not super over the top. It's realistic enough that it'd be easy to bring it onto screen with a little bit of CGI to make it more realistic looking. And the story itself is just plain and simple. There's no, there's no real way to deviate from what the original story is unless they decide, you know what, we're not going to do the ending or we're not going to put in this part. So
they got to do the ending. They're going to do the Akira movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right.
Big question would be: is Peele a big fan? Because I mean, you've got DiCaprio is obviously
right. Yeah.
So you think he's going to want to make it as close as possible to what he really loves about the anime.
Yeah.
So now, if you can find a director who can pull that, brings that same passion to it.
Yeah.
Because apparently Leonardo DiCaprio is like crazy about this movie. Just loves Akira and really, really.
He went on his way to get the rights to it.
Yeah, really.
He's been trying
really
to make
wants
it for
to
a
make
while.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully.
I think that with Get Out, he showed that he is really good at suspense and darker movies. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how he puts that towards this if he gets put on it.
Yeah.
I think that he'll be a good addition for it, just bringing it to life. Even if he doesn't know the references or he doesn't know what the story is or doesn't love it as much as Leonardo DiCaprio does, just what he brought to Get Out would be really awesome to see happen in Akira.
Okay.
Nice. Cool. Well, there's one other that I took off the list because recently it just got indefinitely postponed. Was Trigun, where they actually had a Trigun movie in development.
I didn't know that.
And then it just recently, as I was doing research for the show, found out that it was not happening.
Who picked it up?
I'm not sure, but it was. I think it was. Yeah. Well, once I found out I wasn't doing it, I'm like, well.
Yeah.
Kind of got excited for a minute. Then I'm like, realized, this sucks. I didn't know until then. I think it was the same people that are doing that are rebooting the Masters of the Universe movie. So who knows how it would have turned out.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to see a Trigun movie.
Definitely.
Of course, you go to any anime convention, you see a Trigun movie just walking around.
Oh my god, yeah. I've seen some awesome
There's been some
Wolf,
awesome.
That's his name, right? Yeah, Wolf cosplays.
Yeah.
And honestly, anyone who cosplays out of that, it's one of those animes that it's been around long enough that people have perfected their cosplay to like the very small detail. This guy had managed to figure out how to like crinkle up a real cigarette. And it was
nice. So it was crinkled just like in the
nice. I was completely shocked that you're able to do that. But he was like, "Oh yeah, I just figured out that you can move this here, and if you just roll it, and okay."
Wow. Now I've seen some pretty amazing like Vash Stampede, his red jacket, right? Like, and that's totally homemade,
Yeah.
And it's got tons of detail in it.
Yeah.
Like all the different straps and everything.
Yeah.
I've seen some of these people go out of the way to make some of these. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Just my hats off to you.
Yeah.
None of them can pull off the, the spiky blonde hair and the glasses.
I mean, anime hair in general. Have you seen any of the cosplayers who cosplay Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes.
Oh my god! When Naruto first came out, people were trying to do Naruto's hair, which is also very spiky.
Yeah, spiky.
But it's not as tall as it is, and there were some terrible renditions. But that was also before cosplay was a huge thing, and people were sharing trade secrets of how to do hair and things like that. So people were just trying to figure out what worked best. So
the only thing I know about Naruto is that like every convention you go to, like you see those headbands everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's like, and for a long time I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is this? Everyone's wearing the same goofy headband. But
Well, the cool thing about Naruto is that anyone could be a ninja. You could be a ninja that just wasn't featured on it
That's
because there's
true.
so many ninjas. So you could be a Naruto
There's so
character
many
that just never got any view.
that's
It's
right.
like the hand.
And Chris Farley proved that I could be a ninja. It's just so we all know. I put the Naruto headband on, you know. So there you go, folks. Anime. Is there any anime that we haven't covered that you a big fan of that we haven't touched on? I know we've kind of gone brushed through them.
No, I feel like we covered it, all the really big ones. Trigun is one of those huge ones.
Yeah.
I'm always under the assumption that there's an anime out there for you. So if you haven't found it, don't give up just yet. It's like TV shows. You'll figure it out.
You figure there's one out
Yeah.
there that you're gonna like.
There will be at least one, yeah.
Whether you're into giant mech suits or ninjas or tentacle porn, there's something out there
Yeah,
for you. A little something for
exactly.
everybody in the anime world. So, all right, sounds good. That's pretty much it. I'm actually got more excited to watch anime now than I have been in quite a while. Right, probably since Cowboy Bebop in the late '90s. So I'm actually, especially with all these live action adaptations, I've caused me to go back and revisit like Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah.
and some of the great ones.
Definitely.
And then, hopefully I don't have Ben here anymore to tell me,
That's
show
an
me all
excuse.
the excuse to watch all the weird ones. But we're gonna start checking them out. Yeah. So now my daughter Amber is into anime now. So she, she's on Crunchyroll the entire time.
Yeah.
Just absorbing everything off of that. So she comes and explains stuff to me.
Yeah.
Whether I want her to or not, she'd come over there to start talking about some anime show she's excited about, and I'm just kind of like eyes are glazing over, like,
Right.
So I've probably heard a plot of several anime that,
Yeah.
but so and then she'll get me into watching something like that, right? So then I'll start watching something that she suggested, and then I was like, oh wait, hey, I know what happens here.
Right.
So subconsciously, I'm absorbing it,
Right.
somehow the knowledge, and watch it, and it all comes out. So
I think that's the coolest thing for me. Like I didn't start anime as late as you get, or as early in the anime period as you did, but I started it early enough where I was like, oh, I like anime, and no one knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was the weird girl with my manga and drew like weird things in high school and middle school, and now I've got now it's to the point where, oh yeah, everyone's heard at least one anime, and everyone's going to conventions and dressing up as anime characters. And it's finally getting well known where I'm like, I like anime, and people are like, oh, okay, I've seen, what is that, Naruto?
yeah, I've seen that
Naruto,
stuff.
yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I go to conventions and I see all the cosplayers running around, and I'm just happy when I can recognize one of them.
Right.
Like, I know what that is.
That's half the fun of going to the anime conventions. I mean, they have awesome art and things plenty of things to do, but one of the best parts, and especially in the anime community, is we're all most of us are really welcoming and very talkative to each other. That when you see someone dressed up as something that your immediate response is, oh my God, that's so-and-so. And they're like, yeah, it totally is. And you're like, I want a picture of that. And they're like, of course. And then you can sit there and talk about how awesome the anime is, or how many other anime you've watched, to have that sort of thing. And like I said, the community is very welcoming, and they want to talk to you about the cool things that they've got or that they've watched or know about.
Yeah, if I liked people more, I'd talk to them more about anime. But well, I think that's about does it for our anime episode. Appreciate you guys listening. Please leave a comment below. Tell us what your favorite anime is. If there's any of the big ones that we missed, or if you disagree with us, probably a lot with my opinion on Attack of the Titan and all that stuff, Dragon Ball Z. But leave a comment below. We'd like to hear what you have to say. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah. And don't forget to check the description down below. We'll have links to Altered Reality Games, and be watching for their Kickstarter soon.
Right. Thank you.